everyone. Welcome to Venus Friday, When Love Speaks. I'm Lorenzo Sanford, your host, and we're celebrating another day of love. We here at Astrology are excited about this particular day of programming content because we think it's important to share what motivates us and what keeps everybody moving forward in life. It's always about love. Today is an interesting day because, as we mentioned in our Tuesday snapshot of the sky, Venus and Saturn are conjunct in the sky today. So it's a day where love is really serious. It's a day when you have questions about what are the proper boundaries, what is my role versus someone else's role. Today is really a serious day for thoughts and considerations of love. And we have a question from one of our subscribers, Robyn from Los Angeles, that really speaks to this issue. And so we want to jump right into it. Robyn's question is, when will I find someone loving and supportive and financially stable in my life? I just finished a relationship that ended in divorce, and I want to know what love is like after divorce. Wow, thank you, Robyn, for being vulnerable enough to share that with us. We really appreciate you giving us a chance to address this issue with you. And it's interesting because you have Venus in Scorpio. We've talked about Venus in Scorpio a couple of times now because one of our other subscribers had it. And so we know a lot about that. And I want to be clear that even though we've talked about some of the challenges of it, Venus in Scorpio is about commitment at a deep level. So you really are a woman who has the ability to commit at a deep level. However, in your chart, Venus is very close to the planet Neptune. Not only that, it's actually one of the planets in your chart that has great significance because it's the ruler of your chart. You're a Libra rising. And with Libra rising, that means Venus is the primary planet that talks about your motivation for everything. So with Venus very close to the planet Neptune, you're a really big romantic. You have really, really high expectations. And that's amplified also by the fact that Venus is opposing Jupiter in your chart. So, Robyn, I don't know if you're ready to admit this, but you might be a bit spoiled. You might be someone whose expectations are so high that you make it difficult to get the kind of response that you need. You may get in your own way. In addition to your ability to be deeply committed, you just need these really big displays of affection and support and, quite frankly, money. You have Venus in the second house. So you want your partner to have a lot of money. The good news is this. As I looked at where you can, at the time frame at which you can expect to have love in your life, it's very clear that it's coming. And to me, it's not a long time. It may seem like a long time to you, but it's just 3 years from now. In 3 years, you will be in a satisfying, committed, long-term relationship. That's for sure. However, it's also important to me that when that time comes, when you have that relationship, that you deal with it in the best, most effective way possible so that you don't end up divorced again. And that's not to say that the divorce was your fault or anyone's fault. I'm saying, again, what I've stressed before, that we have to look inside ourselves. And we have to examine what's going on inside of us if we're going to be successful in anything, but especially in a relationship. So in your case, with Venus conjunct Neptune, you have to temper your need to have a lot of super romantic, super fantasy-like expectations. Now, speaking of fantasy, it's actually a great aspect if you create fantasy in your relationships, but that means do it with your partner. So that passionate Venus that we've talked about before so much, use your passion and create fantasies. In fact, find a partner who wants to be creating fantasies with you. There's a big difference, though, between creating fantasies together and expecting someone to satisfy your fantasy needs. And so I would say, yes, use that passion, use that romantic nature, and find someone who can join you in that. Maybe erotica. Venus and Scorpio is very sexual. Erotica, writing erotic love letters to each other, planning erotic evenings together, certainly planning trips that are erotic. All of that, as long as you're doing it together. And then you have Venus opposing Jupiter, so that says that you should travel too. Make sure travel is a part of your experience, because you always want to be expanding and growing, and you always want to be learning about different cultures and different ideas. So fantasy and travel is a great recipe for you. So Robyn, we are talking about Venus only. And Venus is certainly important in your chart, but just if I may, I'd like to just talk about a few more aspects in your chart as a whole. You are a Sagittarian, and Sagittarians need a lot of freedom, right? And you also have Moon in Aquarius. So Aquarius likes a lot of freedom. So really, you have to be honest here that there's almost conflicting sides in your desires. You have one side that really wants a lot of freedom, and you have another side that really needs someone who's committed and loving and devoted to you in a really super romantic, highly emotional way. And so you have to do your best to reconcile all of that. That's, again, one of the beautiful aspects of astrology. You get to see all the pieces, and you get to acknowledge all the pieces, and you let them all have space in your life. You don't just pretend that you're one thing. So I'm happy to report that you're not just one aspect. You don't just want love. You also want freedom. You also want space. You also want security. All that gets jumbled in, and it's a lot to process. So it's a good thing that you're having time in your life to work through a lot of these concerns. Your relationship is coming, as I've already said, but it's good that it may be 3 years before it finally comes all together, because you have time to process all of who you are. And I think that that's a beautiful thing that we don't often give enough credence to in our culture. We want it now. We want it right now. We got to have that love. We got to have that feeling. But no, what we need all is that inner connection, so that when we do connect with someone else, we have investigated, we have excavated, we have dug deep, and we're able to give something that's really authentic. And especially for you, with all these aspects to Venus in your chart, you've got the Aquarius moon aspecting Venus, you've got the Jupiter and Taurus aspecting Venus, you've got Mars and Pluto aspecting Venus. You're a really passionate woman, and you have a lot of energy, and to integrate all that means that you have some work to do in terms of understanding all these different parts of who you are. So I hope that is useful as we talk about all these aspects to how you love. And again, it's coming. You are going to have that relationship in just over 3 years. So that's not a long time. It may seem like it, but you need time to heal. You need time to recover from your past. And you need time to really invest in a deep understanding of the things that really motivate you and move you, so that when your next relationship comes, it really will be satisfying and you will be a participant in bringing the love that you want and need. So I hope that answers some of your question. And of course, you need to have a full reading so that you can have an understanding of all of your complexities and all of who you are as a person. We're just talking about one planet right now, Venus, even though it is a very important planet for you. But we can definitely look deeper into your life and the other concerns that you have in a full reading. So thank you for sharing, Robyn. We hope and wish you the best in everything. And we know that this relationship that you seek is coming. It is definitely coming. And thank you all for being a part of this journey today. As always, we wish you love and peace. And we depart, as usual, with the Sanskrit word namaste. The spirit in me acknowledges and honors the spirit in you.